Oh, hey, what's up, guys? I didn't see you there. We have a great show for you today and a great cast of characters, including a community dedicated to help monarch butterflies bounce back after nearly going extinct in 2020. A CBS News producer in San Francisco connects with a stranger in Napa Valley through a dog and a missing earbud. David Begnaud shows us how these two strangers forged a friendship. Plus, what is the secret to happiness? We meet a Harvard professor running a decades-long study looking into the age-old question. And we meet a child who became an inspiration for a possible medical breakthrough. All of that and more good news. You are watching The Uplift. Hey, what's up, Uplift fam? I'm Nate Burleson, and this is a show that will lift you up for at least the next 30 minutes. We begin in Southern California, where a community is working to help monarch butterflies rebound. Here is Joy Benedict from CBS Los Angeles.
There's something in the air in the Hollywood Hills, as the blooming is a beacon for the butterfly.
1, 2, 3. Something should be coming out of her. You saw the egg?
Oh my God, yeah. The monarch butterflies are laying eggs and flying high, but it's not by accident or even by nature. It's a plan by this community as the monarch is on the endangered species list.
We have one little guy left.
Stephen Pine is raising his monarchs inside.
They're beautiful insects, and we care about beautiful little insects. We don't want them to go extinct.
He says when the Hollywood Knolls Garden Club started telling everyone about the need for milkweed to keep the butterflies alive, he got 2 small plants and ended up with 24 caterpillars.
It looked like an alien takeover at one point when you had all of them just going to town on our plants. They literally chewed them to the nubs of the stalks.
With the temperatures rising, he brought his tiny plants and tiny caterpillars inside.
We had so many caterpillars, I had to go around the neighborhood and find, random milkweed plants and steal leaves to keep our caterpillars fed.
They can smell milkweed for up to 2 miles away.
Charles Malky is the co-chair of the Garden Club and owns a plant product company. He handed out milkweed to his neighbors as it's the only plant the monarch caterpillars can eat.
It's shocking that they've hit the endangered species list last year. We all need to take that additional step to support their populations by dedicating some of our real estate to them.
Especially since this was once their habitat.
Our homes have taken away from their real estate.
But scientists say it's not construction killing this winged tiger. It's the herbicide that kills the milkweed and the pesticide that stops the flight.
How bad a shape are they in?
It's been really bad. We probably have only about 1% of the monarchs that we would have seen 40 years ago.
Dr. Jeff Holmquist is an ecologist at UCLA. He says we also can't rule out the effect of climate change.
As the climate changes, we may start to have more of these mismatches between plants and the insects that depend on them.
Butterflies migrate based on the temperature, but the warmth can be deceiving, allowing them to fly to their next location too soon.
So they've left their coastal overwintering habitat, gone inland to find milkweed, and oops, little or no milkweed there. So that's a problem.
Which gives this community just one more reason to plant it.
This here is a seed pod, and you can see the beautiful seeds.
And its beautiful friend, the orange and black banded fluttering staple of fall, which this community hopes will soar for generations to come.
We have to protect and preserve these butterflies by all costs. All right, coming up, meet a teen who grew up with a mystery condition and no diagnosis, how she inspired a possible medical breakthrough. Plus, we talk to experts who have studied the pursuit of happiness for decades. Find out what they say is the simple key to being happy. When Jordan Lang's parents noticed their daughter wasn't hitting the development milestones she should, doctors began using a method called genome mapping, which revealed something they had never seen before. Adam Yamaguchi has the story.
Jordan Lang may not speak like most 17-year-olds, but she has no problem letting you know how she feels.
Let's go this way.
Before her first birthday, Jordan's parents, Cynthia and Joe, suspected she was different.
It was about 9 months when she wasn't hitting her milestones that most kids would hit.
We tested for things.
Everything came up negative.
Good job, Jordan.
Jordan wasn't developing the strength and muscle tone to keep up with other children her age. She also experienced muscle seizures. And as she grew, Jordan's intellectual development stalled at the level of a toddler. Test after test failed to pinpoint a diagnosis.
But then at age 10, we did this genome mapping, and that opened up all of our answers.
That mapping revealed a genetic mutation doctors had never seen before, one that interferes with cell and tissue function. The Langs and their physicians were perplexed.
And she used to just motor everywhere.
2 months after Jordan's diagnosis, the Langs learned of 5 other children exhibiting the same genetic mutation.
Jordan being the very first to be diagnosed, it's got to be very lonely.
When someone calls and says, gee, your child is one of 6 in the world, it can be a little bit daunting.
It's like, wow, we don't know where we're going, but let's go.
Through social media, the Langs soon found companions on their journey. Hundreds of parents around the world describe similar symptoms in their children, often misdiagnosed as autism. But genome mapping found many shared the same group of mutations, changes that just happen and aren't inherited. The disorder now had a face and a name, Jordan syndrome.
Tell me about Jordan.
Well, she's just this amazing 17-year-old child. She doesn't speak, but she's a very soulful young girl.
She walks fast, Adam.
She'll sometimes grab your hand and say, I'm here and I want to be your friend. We got to chew and swallow.
While the children's development remained stalled, their parents forged ahead, creating a foundation called Jordan's Guardian Angels to take an end run around Big Pharma and its lengthy drug development process that focuses on treating more common ailments.
But I know we have a couple of topics.
The Guardian Angels meet each week to discuss fundraising and research. They have raised $36 million in grants and donations and convinced a group of researchers from 10 major institutions to work together on treatments and prevention.
We're starting to see changes within the way either dopamine is synthesized or processed.
One of the partners is the University of California, Davis, where Jan Nolta oversees gene editing in animals, targeting mutations responsible for Jordan syndrome.
And so she's taking the RNA out to see if we've kind of fixed the defect.
And in just 6 years of research, they're now just a few months away from testing treatments on children with Jordan syndrome, and optimistic about a breakthrough.
So you're approaching clinical trials fairly soon.
Yeah.
This is light speed in this world.
Light speed to get to the clinical trials. It's amazing.
The children have inspired the research team to speed toward that goal.
That level of cooperation isn't very common.
Scientists are often competing for grant funding, and without the research dollars, no discoveries are ever made.
For Jordan's parents, it's a race against time.
To go from discovery of a disease to now talking about treatments and possible cures in 6 years is almost unheard of, right? Normally that length of time is 15 years or more.
How do you think that potential treatments can help Jordan, given that she's 17 years old at this point?
If we could develop some level of speech, that means a difference in life that's life-changing.
And potentially life-changing for many around the world. Scientists now estimate that 250,000 people may have undiagnosed Jordan syndrome.
It does drive you. Your child's now known around the world because of a disease. The love of your child.
Yeah, I know you like that.
Is an amazing motivator.
A medical breakthrough that can turn into miracles for others. All right, coming up, what is the secrets to happiness? The expert's answer will be revealed after the break, so make sure you come back. Plus, how far would you go to find a missing item? David Begnaud talks to a CBS News producer in San Francisco with the story of tenacity. How one lost item sent her on a 50-mile journey to Napa Valley, where she met a stranger turned friend. An ongoing Harvard University study that began in 1938 has monitored the happiness of hundreds of patients over the last 85 years. So, what has it revealed about the highly coveted feeling? Here's Barry Peterson.
There is nothing like the pure happiness of a baby's laughter.
We were born happy. We were also born sad. You know, babies cry. Toddlers tantrum. And then it's over in a moment, right? So I think what we're talking about is being able to move in and out of life's joys and sorrows. Relationships are so complicated.
Dr. Bob Waldinger is a professor of psychiatry at Harvard University, and he is the fourth person to run the ongoing Harvard study on adult development. It's been monitoring the happiness of more than 700 original participants who were Harvard undergraduates or young men from inner-city Boston neighborhoods. It later included their partners and now their children. It started in 1938. If you're counting, that's 85 years of never-ending research. A study that proves it's not fame nor fortune that brings happiness, but having personal relationships, as he wrote in his book, The Good Life. And the study also shows happiness can be a matter of life or death.
What we understand is that the benefits of relationship begin with that sense that somebody has my back, somebody will be my safety net. Because all of us face challenges all the time in life, and having someone to go to, we feel is an essential component of well-being.
Why of well-being? What do you mean? Does it make us sicker or healthier?
It makes us sicker. We found when we wanted to predict who was going to stay healthy, as we followed people all the way through their lives, who was going to be healthy and happy? The people who had the warmest relationships with other people in their 50s were the ones who were most likely to stay healthy and still be in this world in their 80s.
But we live in a world of advertising that promises happiness from buying things, be it the newest fashionable purse or the newest model car.
And I look at that and I think the message is, that's my route to happiness, and you get it all day long.
Exactly. It's a kind of cultural haze that we are so surrounded by that we don't even notice it. We're getting all these messages all day long about buying things that will make us happy. And that turns out not to be true from what we know from research.
Well, your research says you can buy it, but it's not going to make sustained happiness.
No. But experiences and experiences with other people are much more likely to make us happy and make us happy for longer.
And the study found a crucial difference between men and women and their abilities to nurture those critical relationships.
Women and girls learn to pay attention to each other and to their relationships. And so girls learn to do a lot of things cooperatively. Boys play games together. They do activities together, but they're less socialized to worry about each other, to confide in each other. And in fact, there's some research that boys often start out having confidants as friends, but when they get into later adolescence, it doesn't feel so manly, so they stop doing that.
And of all people, even Dr. Waldinger worries that he was getting that part wrong.
One of the things I've learned from my own research is that I need to be more active in keeping contact with my friends, because otherwise I was leaving it all to my partner. And I was worried that one day I would just wake up and turn around and say, I don't have any of my own friendships anymore.
Not that rocket science, just go somewhere with a friend.
No, and that's what I say all the time. I don't do rocket science.
But there is a science of happiness, and that's what University of Colorado Associate Professor June Gruber teaches and studies in her Boulder, Colorado lab, where I was hooked up to physiological sensors by graduate student Cindy Viamava.
It's going to expand, and when you breathe out, it's going to contract, and it's going to measure your breathing.
Other sensors monitor heart rate, blood flow, brain imaging, even sweaty palms, all measuring reactions from flashing images, good or bad.
So you're really talking about kind of our public face. Oh, doctor, I feel really happy. But this will tell you a different story if our body is not feeling that same emotion.
And not in sync, right, with what we say we're feeling.
And the research is already showing surprising results.
Everybody watching this is going to want to ask one question. How do I get to be happy.
I think what we're discovering is that the science of happiness is telling us things that may go against our intuitions. So, for example, one of the ways to become happy is actually not to try to feel joyful every day or to strive to be excited or proud. That can also include sometimes feeling sad, sometimes feeling afraid.
So trying to be happy is really the exactly wrong thing to do.
Absolutely. So we say that the harder you try to be happy, paradoxically, the less happy you set yourself up to be.
It's a beautiful Colorado day.
Yeah.
She teaches that happiness can be had with just a walk outside.
You feel better.
I feel happy.
Yeah, indeed. And you feel a sense of happiness that's sustainable and that really promotes a kind of authentic sense of well-being.
And finally, a last piece of happiness wisdom attributed to John Lennon, who wrote, "Count your age by friends, not years. Count your life by smiles, not tears."
There you go, the recipe to happiness. All right, coming up, from the pursuit of happiness to the pursuit of an earbud, how one CBS News producer's journey led her more than 50 miles from home, all the way to Napa Valley. We now introduce you to a CBS News producer in San Francisco who formed a connection with a stranger in Napa Valley over a missing earbud. David Begnaud has their story.
In the vineyards of Northern California, winemaker Aaron Robinson is immersed in a career he loves.
Really well-drained soils, so the vines really struggle and create incredible fruit.
About 50 miles south,
Good morning.
in the San Francisco office of CBS News.
You're not getting to the money. You don't know. You have. She has to know.
But hold on. No. Producer Chris Weiker's passion for storytelling is always evident.
I think you need you talking to her, and that's the one place where it actually works. So let's put that back in.
All right, we can put it back in. And this is Wednesday, an inquisitive little puppy who brought us all together on this beautiful rustic hilltop.
Hi, it's my pal. Yes. It's so good to see you again. Well, I guess we do have to do a toast.
Yeah.
So we're toasting Wednesday for the earbud recovery. Otherwise, I would have had to explain to my son, who gave it to me for Christmas.
To Wednesday saving Christmas.
Just wait until you hear how the three of us and our four-legged pal all came to this newfound friendship. So over the summer, Chris lost an earbud, something to which many of us can relate. So she spent the next 10 days looking for it.
And then day after day, I kept looking. I figured, okay, I looked under the seat of the car. I figured this thing is going to show up.
She asked the building security guard, Calvin, if anyone had turned it in.
Why would you think somebody's going to turn an earbud into the front desk in San Francisco where things get stolen all the time?
No, they would, because, I mean, it's San Francisco and we revere tech, right?
Finally, speaking of tech, she used the Find My app on her iPhone. It alerted to a remote location in Napa Valley, more than 40 miles from where she last saw the AirPod. That's when her tenacity kicked in. She headed out alone to track down that earbud. Chris retraced the trip with me.
Most people don't drive to the addresses because most people might think it was stolen, and most people might think they might get, shot.
I've knocked on a lot of doors in a lot of strange places.
Yeah, fair.
For more than 40 years, my friend, the fearless award-winning producer, has covered every kind of story, from natural disasters to global conflicts and presidential elections.
Wednesday.
On the day that earbud disappeared, Aaron Robinson was in the city. He had walked Wednesday before driving back home to wine country. Unbeknownst to him at the time, his little pup picked up the AirPod and dropped it in his car. Fast forward, Robinson is in his field when Weiker drives up to the gate unannounced.
She said, "Do you have my AirPod?" I was like, "Your AirPod? Oh, yes, I do have your AirPod. I do actually have it." I said, "Do you want to come up?"
So I said, no, I didn't know who you were.
Yeah, she's like, "I'll wait here." You know what I mean? With that hair, I'll wait here.
You probably never thought that somebody would actually show up looking for it.
No, you got to have a lot of perseverance to come all the way out here.
Let me tell you about my dear colleague and friend. This lady is like Wednesday on a bone. She ain't letting up, okay?
It's what we do for a living.
Yeah.
And you know, we're given these impossible equations, and you can't give up. It sort of bleeds over into your personal life too.
This woman has proven to me time and time again that when I thought we ought to just pack it in and go home, just try one more thing.
That's amazing.
It is a friendship forged in fire and frank conversations.
It's over. It's gone on for too long.
It looks fantastic.
Yes.
I'll tell you, her passion and persistence has always inspired me.
They all cleaned up just fine with a little rubbing alcohol.
Do you still use it today?
Yes, I have them right here. This is where it all began. And there is a little tooth mark we were noticing.
So we toasted to our newfound friendship and bond over a missing AirPod with a bottle of his Vandella Vineyards.
It's really good.
And Chris brought treats for Wednesday to reward her for not crunching on that Christmas present.
And the takeaway is, when you think that you've reached the end of the road, keep going.
Exactly.
Amen.
Yeah.
And I learned it from you.
Well, here.
Many, many times over.
To Chris and David.
Here.
And Wednesday!
And Wednesday.
That's our show. I hope this news brightened up your day and lifted you up. And remember, keep swinging until you knock it out of the park.